going 60-40 Liquid in terms of the hero lineup.
60-40. Okay, we're going to take one last look for the Champions Arena at the lineups here. You can let us know in the chat which you think is the better draft. Is it TLPH for game number 1, or is it going to be Falcons with this? The fact that they locked in a Matilda too for Ogwin here is a whole lot of mobility and utility. And this is one of the first times you see all these flickers coming in for both teams. We're going to go ahead and get ready to throw it over to our casters to take us into game number 1.
Game 1 in the Clash of Titans, a chronicle that spans the seasons. Here in the Champions Arena, a best of 5 for a race towards the upper bracket finals. You know what, I'll side with Renmar. I think I do like how JP alone, his chip, who has a 100% win rate, opens up so much with this Carl Theezy Fredrin-centric lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think the same, but if you were to ask me, I feel like I'm sort of 50-50, you know? Like the hero synergies in Team Falcon's lineup, they're just too good. They look too good. But again, overall, if Team Liquid Philippines, they're able to take the team fight strategically, then they can take the upper hand either way, considering that this is Sanji on Kimmy. I feel like it's an exciting, it's exciting to see him on these kinds of heroes, because even way back when he was using all these Novarias and all, he is that kind of guy who just plays the mid lane aggressively and so well.
Yeah, very nuke-centric, definitely. So JP right now, obviously, is just going to poke it a little bit, but we were talking about like the win rates earlier, or the percentages. I really do agree with that 60-40, just because of how well we know Sanji will play this, plus the unpredictability that Terizla might actually give for this matchup.
That is the X factor out of the XP lane. I think the fact that we're seeing a Terizla after so long, that might change the way Falcons plays. Again, I'm sure they've seen this in scrims, but through a shortcut, with a Fredrin, with a Moscow from across the map, like these are all lethal combos that Liquid PH could use to stampede through Falcon synergies.
And that's probably a new version of the Stampede, because it's a debut pick for both the Fredrin and the Terizla for TLPH this season. But hold on.
Wow, that's a very hard committal here from Oheb. Straight in Super Mario. I mean, that was already a really good Spear of Misery, but maybe would have been enough for Naked Chew. Luckily, he was just shy of one hit away.
Quick shift up top near the turtle.
Falcons definitely have a bit of an advantage here with Flapteezy ready with that Fist Crack combo, but look at that, nice dive in as well. Sanji staying relatively safe in this fight. They're also going to be able to take out Few, but the turtle going over to the Falcons this time around.
40 for Few. I don't know how the math checks out. Brigida, is that a good trade?
Well, honestly, I feel like Few on the Chushin doesn't mind. It's more of like him being a utility at this point, but then Sanford there.
Right.
It's like that was supposedly a setup that Team Liquid Philippines could have really capitalized on, but then they were just exchanging blows. There was a beautiful fist break, fist crack combo too from Flapteezy. And so I feel like both teams are just pretty much even with it.
Turtle did go over to Falcon, so I guess that's the deal breaker. You know, that's what makes it worth it. So now 3 minutes in, 1,000 up. Falcons are a kill apiece. Look at this, what's going on bottom?
That's a very crazy shortcut here, right in between two turrets. It is a very confident TLPH fighting it out. Flapteezy gonna get caught out here a little bit, will have enough movement. Few to the rescue, and there you go. There's gonna be some punishment coming in from the Falcons this time around.
Oh God, you saw what 40 tried to do again. They were in too deep and they already overcommitted. I think 40 needed like a second more to just get out with the shortcut.
But Few denied him of that 1 second. He just made sure that there was no way 40 was getting out of that, and now he's currently on a 1-2-1, but wait!
JP is gonna be taken out here with just some really good firepower coming in from Super Marco and Ogwin. Those Wisps really do hurt in the early game. Can't really ignore those.
Yeah, we're starting to feel the hero synergies. Like, how will Ogwin complement these heroes of Team Falcons, who by themselves have some pretty good and reliable mobility already, but he just amplifies all that so they can just immediately go to positions that Team Liquid Philippines can just immediately catch up to.
Ooh, that's another flicker.
They are really bearing down on Oheb. Babycake's duo currently not online, nowhere to be seen. It has been quite a while since we've seen Carl Theezy and Oheb do great things as a duo. Towards the twilight of Season 15, the regular season, they kind of just did their own thing. Now with Carl Tizzy on the utility jungler, he's just focused on getting subjective.
Feels like a different fight right now. Carl Tizzy really good on the retribution still. It's 5-man for Falcons. They have the capability to really punish out TLPH here. And there you go with a fist break. Gonna be catching so many members of TLPH. They're just running. The cavalry are just running for the hills here. 2 down for the cavalry.
FLCN has dynamite in his hands. The Filipino cannon has unleashed into TLPH in their orange buff side of the jungle. And oh no, they might steal it away from Carl.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna have enough firepower. Look at that. It's gonna be JP from the back with the shortcut. And there you go. Good enough projectile. Traction pulse pulls it back. And that's another 2 answering really quickly by TL.
Yep, beautiful answer provided to us by Team Liquid Philippines here. Traction Pulse also thrown out, and they are immediately able to trade out a turret from Team Falcons. Earlier, it felt like 40 had such a great responsibility. It seems like every single time he goes in with the penalty zone, he already has to expect that he's going down because he'll force out the Unleash, the Beast. He's forcing out every single reaction from Team Falcons, and he's the first to fall. But in that moment wherein Team Liquid Philippines was able to regroup, that play by JP coming in all from the back lines just to set things up for Team Liquid Philippines to go for the fight and the punish, now they're able to somehow turn things around against Team Falcons.
Again, a fundamentally broken hero when it comes to map mobility. Oh, SOD thrown out!
SOD straight to the face here, but a nice intercept coming in from FLCN, making sure he has to force OHEB back once more. And there you go. They have enough sustain because of the Matilda and no injuries at the very least.
Hold up. Did he catch OHEB mid-air with a fist break without using flicker?
That was crazy, but yes, he did.
Exactly, right? Like, how does FLCN do all this on the Badang? It feels like his warm-up's complete after using it multiple times yesterday, that he's able to interrupt so much, deny so much from Team Liquid Philippines, in as much as they want to take the team fight strategically, step by step, or systematically even. How do you do that when there's this Badang constantly trying to deny you of that?
Yeah, they're doing it as much as they can, right? They're grouping up so hard, but there you go, a flying QB! And they take out OHEB in just one combo. Right up on front is Sanford. It's going to be Carl Tizzy trying to soak up as much damage as he can. A Prince Rat goes down, but he will also fall.
Dear Lord, a flying Unleash the Beast tracking towards OHEB. Of course you have to concede the last hurdle of the game. Of course, Kyle Tizzy will take it easy.
Wow, that's a solid hit from Super Marco here. They're going to be taking out this turret with ease.
Yeah, Team Falcons at this point, they're just constantly able to bypass every single member of Team Liquid Philippines and hunt OHEB down. OHEB is having a very difficult time trying to position himself in the team fights. If it's not Flap that's after his life, it's Kyle Tizzy, who barely minds anyone else from Team Liquid Philippines. Once he gets his eyes set on OHEB, that's all he needs to know. He's literally just going for it, whatever happens.
What? Is FLCN just walking it up from the back here?
What are you doing there, brother?
You usually come through the other side. That's where your side of the map is, red side. But oh my lord, the Filipino cannon. He's a loose cannon. They spot. Do they know JP's here?
I think they... I don't think so. I don't think so. Flap's a little too deep here. But again, he seems to be very confident in how tanky he is, you know, walking up on the turret.
But look at that. Because of Falcon's attention to the top lane, they forgot that OHEB can just do this.
Yeah.
He pushes it all the way, tier 2 down.
Yeah, but I'm liking how OHEB decided to do this instead because they can't afford to risk the fight anymore. Here it goes again.
There's a retreat, perfectly timed Spirit Misery, but the catch-up is really, really strong. Plus the confidence you get because of Ogwen's Matilda. That's going to be OHEB getting removed here. And there you go, JP again, all alone. There's just no answer for TL. How do you answer a rampaging Falcon squad like this?
Here's the thing. You see a Liquid Stampede, it makes sense. They're horses, right? But what if a flock of Falcons just come down from the ground and start attacking you? What do you do?
I can't believe how Kyle Tizzy looked so decisive. He just... This is a problem for OHEB, definitely. We mentioned it earlier, but all the more now. Luckily for Sanji, he hasn't died just yet, but he could be next, you know? Like, if Falcons gains that much of an easy access to OHEB, then that pretty much denies Team Liquid Philippines of getting their power spikes early on. Then what more now for Sanji? There's such a huge role he has to fill.
Right now, it does feel like TLPH trying to set up the team fight that they want to happen. Here comes Kyle. He's actually quite low, but he will still be able to secure that Lord. But that's going to be jungler down. How's the fight going to look like here? Sanford is very low in the middle of the fight. Actually, most TLPH members are super duper low. They're getting chased down by Falcons. Sanji, he's kiting. Fist break misses, but will be caught by JP. Sanji survives, but JP is going to fall.
Falcons' front line is just too sustainable. They are pushing forward despite being at less than half health, and they shrug it off like nothing happened. Pop and Holy defenses, after taking that Lord, again, giant birds from the sky, taken to the ground to take you down.
Yep.
What do you do in that
huge.
scenario, right? The big 5 birds.
They're like 200 pounds.
If you're Team Liquid
tall.
Philippines, you gotta wait probably. Like, you mentioned it, the front lines, they're too sustainable. And Team Liquid Philippines, their damage output, it takes time. It takes time before Team Falcons actually gets to feel the damage coming in from Team Liquid Philippines. So that just goes to show that they definitely need to take a little more time, get those items in for OHEP and Sanji, because at this moment, no matter how good of a setup Sanford is able to provide against Team Falcons, there will always be the counter setups too from Team Falcons, and there will be that lack of damage that wouldn't do any good for the cavalry.
Rockhart, 11 minutes in. Should Liquid be regretting picking the Terizla?
It's starting to look like it. We haven't seen the value of the Terizla quite yet. Fist Crack is activated by Flap, but Carl TZ trying to see if he can pull someone in with the Energy Eruption. Not really going to get any targets. But like we mentioned, where's the value of the Terizla in this lineup?
All right, JP gets spotted out of that brush. Gets hit with a Circling Eagle.
All right, he has shortcut. Will use Conceal as well. But again, going through that shortcut feels like a really risky play. Sanford, though, is... I guess he's tanky enough to do something. Spear of Destruction hits Super Marco. I don't think they're going to pull it. And speaking of pulling, no one gets pulled in by the traction pull.
I think they were considering trying to go for the fight since they knew that Kyle TZ was getting their orange buff. But even then, you feel the hesitation. They can't fully commit just yet. They weren't in the right position. And Team Falcons, they're still the guiding wind.
Those ults, that sequence that could have happened here in Liquid Philippines' purple side jungle, I think they were all like 2 seconds off. A shortcut into the penalty zone. The SOD into the full collapse. Like, those could have worked out. It's just Falcons never allowed it. Like, they always kept themselves scarce.
Yeah. They were at the same time. They weren't enough for Team Liquid Philippines to feel confident enough to taking that fight. And so we see the multitude of problems that Team Liquid Philippines is currently facing. And it's probably somehow also because of the limitations that they have in terms of their lineup. Like, there's no one person you can expect to just fully disrupt. That's at most probably JP, but just one mistake in terms of wherever he comes from could get immediately punished too by Falcons with their lineup.
I guess that's the danger of having like a pure DPS lineup. You can't really take Falcons by surprise. Like they're gonna get started though. There goes Flap TZ already using the fist break. Kyle TZ is looking for Sanji while the rest of them are trying to juggle it around that Lord. Sanji again removed instantly by the Lucas. And it's gonna be Carl TZ coming out with the Lord anyway. But at what cost? JB all alone and a wipeout happening for the Falcons.
Falcons not losing a single member. Screaming where death is, we are not. Making a beeline towards mid, not even looking at the Lord. I can smell a quick Game 1 victory.
That's going to be it. They're going to be breaking it really hard into a 13-minute game for game number 1.
What a showing by Team Falcons. Completely denied whatever idea Team Liquid Philippines had in terms of them fielding out this lineup. The front